do.
Dah.
So, Assalamualaikum and hello. I speak to Madam Shahira and our panel. So today we'll be presenting about environmental impact assessment for CEC 594, which is infrastructure design projects. Next slide. So the project title is construction of 85 units for double-story terrace house and 2 unit substation double chamber located Bandar Tiram Mukim Terbau, daerah Johor Bahru, Johor Darul Takzim. So we are consist of 5 group members, which is the first one, the leader, Nur Aiman Fidaus bin Badru Hisham. Second one, Nur Syahira binti Othman. Third, Tuan Nurul Layinah binti Tuan Luqman. Fourth, Nur Ifa Izzati bin Syahidan. And lastly, me, Khairul Anam bin Mashisham. And the group name is Alpha Consultant. Next slide. This is our presentation outline. So I'll be passing the baton to Aiman.
Assalamualaikum and very good morning. So we start with the project background. This environment project assessment is prepared for construction of 85 unit double-story terrace house at Bandar Tiram Mukim Tebrau, daerah Johor Bahru, Johor Darul Takzim. The project consists of the following component, which is major component of this project: 2-story terrace house, 2-story semi-detached house, office, shop, and water supply. For the objective of the project, consists of housing solution, space optimization, cost efficiency, structural integrity, aesthetic appeal, functional design, sustainable construction, timely completion, compliant with regulation, and lastly, client satisfaction. For the objective of environment impact assessment, first to identify the impact of the project to environment. Second, evaluation of significant. Third, prediction of cumulative effect. Fourth, identification of mitigation measure. Next, consultation and stakeholder engagement, compliance with regulation and standard, monitoring and follow-up, integration and sustainability principle. We go to scope of study. First, to provide an overview of the project context, component, and activities. To recognize and evaluate significant negative environment effect that may arise from the project activity. To identify, evaluate, propose appropriate and feasible measure to mitigate and reduce identified adverse environment impact. To identify, assess, and suggest program for monitoring the impact and ensuring compliance with environment regulation. For the project details, permanent and temporary structure and infrastructure development. First, access highway will be widened and rehabilitated. Second, during construction, contemporary bird shelter, toilet, septic tank, project office, and storage room will be built at the project site. The major component of this project, two-story terrace house, 85 unit, two-story semi-detached house, 4 unit, 3-story office shop, 129 unit, water supply, 3 unit, and playground, 1 unit. For the location of the project, which is at Mukim Tebrau within the Johor Bahru district, approximately to 25 km away from Bandar Johor Bahru. The access to the site can be obtained via Jalan Kota Tinggi and Jalan Sungai. Additionally, when travelling from Kulai to Ulu Tiram, there is an oil palm area located on the left side of the road, approximately 8 km from Ulu Tiram. The local authority involved is Municipal Council of Johor Bahru. We continue to project description by Shahira.
Alright, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to our panel and madam. My name is Nushaira binti Osman. I will continue from Aiman. This is site accessibility. In the planning of a site, accessibility is a crucial consideration. A good accessibility strategy can help to avoid equipment conflicts and ensure seamless transit throughout the project. It can also ensure that there is enough space for all worksite equipment such as trucks, cranes, and excavators to function safely. Conflicts are typically brought about by erroneous estimation of the amount of space taken by facilities and equipment. So for what you can see, the road for access the site location are safe and not even pass through the residential area. So it is safe for machinery transportation and even for material supplies. Next slide. Next slide. All right, infrastructure and utilities. First, electricity. We have TNB, Tenaga Nasional Berhad. Second, water supply, Ranhill SAJ Sdn Berhad, that distribute by Rumah Pam from nearby residential. Third, communication. There are Maxis, Celcom, and Digi coverage. Fourth, roads, SDA and residential roads. SDA stand for Senai Desaru Expressway. Fifth, schools and education institution. There are a lot educational building within 5 kilometer radius of the project site. Six, mosques and place of worship. It is complete with various religions for all types of races. There are Islam for Islam, Buddhists, and also Hindus. And lastly, public department. There are firefighter, police station, polyclinic, and post office. Next slide. Next slide. Project activity phase. All right, there are three phases activities. First, post-construction stage. Second, construction stage, and third is operational stage. So in pre-construction stage, first plan preparation and seeking of the appropriate approval from the relevant authorities. Second, appraisal of baseline condition to determine supply and demand for required infrastructural utility services. And third, EIA project report and study report preparation, including the necessary approval. In construction stage, first, there are transportation of machinery. Second, transportation of building materials. Third, drilling borehole. Fourth, excavation and land filling works. Fifth, masonry, concrete work, and related activities. And sixth, structural steel works. In operational stage, there are residential activities, solid waste and waste water management, compound cleaning, and lastly, general repairs and maintenance. So all the construction input have to obtain from licensed dealers such as construction tools, machinery, materials, infrastructure elements, and others. Need to have approval from NEPA. NEPA stands for National Environmental Policy Act for AIA study that focus on site clearing, soil works such as cut and fill, and water resources. Health and safety. The construction site are exposed, so the health and safety of workers and communities surrounding are considered by using the guideline for public safety and health at construction site. First revision 2007. Legal and culture. Legally, project to remove trees and clear land for construction that follow the law of Malaysia Act 385 Lands Conservation Act 1980. And the facilities are quite a lot. and they're surrounded with multiracial, friendly places for the culture. That's all for me. We go to the next presenter.
Okay. Hi, my name is Tuan Rulaina. So I will continue from Shaira. So for existing environment, they have three factors that truly under environment, which is physical, biological, and socio-economic. So for the first is physical environment. So there is some impact that have been affected the environment for this project. First is land use and habitat uh, destruction, which is the clearing is done at each stage and temporary road and infrastructure are built. Bulldozer, excavator, and trucks are utilized to clear the site. So this will be affected by the land use through biodiversity loss, fragmentation of habitat, and soil degradation. And then next is the temperature and precipitation, which is some of the implication include rising temperatures, change precipitation patterns, and extreme weather occurrences that have the potential to influence ecosystem, water resource, agriculture, and human settlements. Next, for biological environment, they have two will be impact, which is a flora and fauna. So for flora, will be vegetation removal within clear areas for access roads and utility sites with the loss of tree cover. And then the function of protection the soil, particularly on steep terrain, will be lost. For fauna, the majority of birds and mammals are lowland species with moderate conservation significance that are well suited to disturb rural habitat. So literally, this as a contractor or any of uh, involvers, they need to be consider this environmental of impact. Next, for socio-economic, they have three impact. For socio-economic, which is a first noise environment. The noise environment can vary greatly depending on location, time of day, and the many noise source of present. Next is air quality. Land clearing and earthwork increase traffic activity and construction. Related emission of primarily suspended particulate matter all have an impact on air quality. And the last one is water quality, the assessment and simulation of water quality in the Sungai Johor Basin as a result of pollution sources caused by urbanization. So I will, I will pass to the next presenter.
Okay, hi. My name is Nur Ifaizati binti Syahidan and I will present about the mitigation measure. There are three phases for this mitigation measure, which are pre-construction, during construction, and post-construction. Pre-construction phase for activity 1, land and soil. So the potential impact for this activity is construction, operation, cause habitat damage, land disturbance, and soil erosion. So the mitigation measure are use erosion prevention technique include stabilizing slopes. Apply method to stop soil erosion such as retaining wall or geotextile. The monitoring program is soil erosion management. For the second activities is biodiversity and ecosystem. Potential impact is fragmentation, habitat loss, and disruption of nearby biodiversity and ecosystem. The mitigation measures are conduct biodiversity surveys to find species and habitat that need protection. Create a strategy to maintain biodiversity and the monitoring program for this activity is ecological baseline assessment. Next slide. So for the construction phase, activity 1, air quality. The potential impact is decreased air quality caused by dust emission from construction activities. The mitigation measures are use dust control technique include water spraying, covering and securing material while in transit. Use technology to reduce emissions such as exhaust filter and dust collector. The monitoring program is air quality monitoring. Second activity is water resources. Potential impact for the activity is runoff from construction zone pollutes nearby bodies of water by generating erosion. Mitigation measure, use erosion and sediment management technique. Handle wastewater properly and treat it to stop contamination. So the monitoring program for the activity is runoff and erosion monitoring. Next slide. So last one is post-construction phase. The activity is waste management and site clean-up. The potential impact for this activity is improper operation waste management. Mitigation measures are create a comprehensive site clean-up strategy to deal with any debris or pollution. Ensure that hazardous material and construction waste are properly disposed of in accordance with applicable laws. The monitoring program is waste disposal monitoring. So for activity 2, ecological and habitat. The potential impact is ecological disturbance and habitat loss. Mitigation measures are implement habitat restore in order to make up for any habitat loss that may have occurred during development. Encourage the creation of wildlife corridors and green areas to improve ecological connection. The monitoring program for this activity is habitat restoring monitoring. That's all from me.
Okay, so now this is my part for the environment management plan. My name is Kara Anam. So for the definition, it is described on how an action might impact on the natural environment in which it occurs and set out clear commitments from the person taking the action on how those impacts will be avoided, minimized, and managed so that they are environmentally acceptable. So in this environment management plan, there are 3 elements which are physical in terms of animal and plants habitats, and then socioeconomic on how communities development impact the environments, and lastly ecological environment, which means living and non-living things on how does that affect the factor of environment management plan. Next slide. So these are the elements of mitigation for the environment management plan. First one is soil conversion, second one waste management, minimize ecological impacts, handle negative social and cultural impacts, reduce dust particles, proper traffic system, dampen noise and vibration resources, preserve water quality, stormwater drainage, and safety issues mitigation. Next slide. So this is the flowchart for environment management plan. As you can see, there are the first one is proposal identification, and next one is screening. And from there is the initial environmental examination. So it can be 2 ways, which is the EIA required or it doesn't require EIA. If the EIA is required, then we'll go to the scoping, impact analysis, mitigation and impact management, and then compile into an EIA report, which will then be reviewed and will be going to the decision making. Noted that there is maybe some public involvement in this process. So if the EIA report approved, the implementation and follow-up can be done through this report. But if it is not approved, then the EIA report must be redesigned and then resubmit for the retrial back. Next. So these are the details of management plan. There are 2 types, which are construction and operation. So for the construction, we have the noise, air quality, soil erosion and stability, solid waste, traffic, crowding, safety, and socio-economic environment. Next slide. Operation is almost the same as construction. However, noted that there are 2 extra elements, which are treated water quality and stormwater management. Next. So environment control. Environment control, there are 7 elements which are considering the environment control, which are application of construction specifications, team selection, noise factor, work progress, storage for supplies, machinery and equipment, safeguarding the site area, and lastly, sufficient road access and utility services. So for that to happen, we have the environmental contingency plan. So this plan is, we want to ensure the control of environmental plan work by applying certain monitoring strategies throughout the project's construction and operational phases. Next. So that is about environmental mitigation plan. Now we are into the conclusion and recommendation. So from this EIA slide representation, we want to highlight the key findings and factor of mitigation aspect. So these are the construct of project we want to do while minimizing the negative effects on the current surrounding environment. At the same time, we want to preserve the natural habitats of animals and plants so that the longevity of coexistence with the human species will be preserved. So in this one, the EIA report can negate the harm of construction activity and reduce the impact it can have on the environment, whether it is directly or indirectly. Lastly, from this report, we can conclude that our project can be categorized as a safe project due to the evidence that we have concluded in this report, reflecting the well-being of the surrounding environment. Next slide. Okay, so that is all from us. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.